Be ready. Start. In the instant case, the accident took place after the amendment and therefore the rate of 12% as fixed by the High Court cannot be faulted. But the period as fixed by it is wrong. The starting point is on completion of 1 month from the date on which it fell due. Obviously, it cannot be the date of accident. Since no indication is there as to when it becomes due, it has to be taken to be the date of adjudication of the claim. This appears to be so because Section 4A(1) prescribes that compensation under Section 4 shall be paid as soon as it falls due. The compensation becomes due on the basis of adjudication of the claim made. The adjudication under Section 4 in some cases involves the assessment of loss of earning capacity by a qualified medical practitioner. Unless adjudication is done, question of compensation becoming due does not arise. The position becomes clearer on a reading of subsection 2 of section 4A. It provides that provisional payment to the extent of admitted liability has to be made when employer does not accept the liability for compensation to the extent claimed. The crucial expression is false due. Significantly, legislature has not used the expression from the date of accident. Unless there is an adjudication, the question of an amount falling due does not arise. It is thus to be seen that subsection 3 of section 4A is in two parts, separately dealing with interest and penalty in clauses A and B respectively. Clause A makes the levy of interest with no option in case of default in payment of compensation without going into the question regarding the reasons for the default. Clause B provides for imposition of penalty in case, in the opinion of the commissioner, there was no justification for the delay. Before imposing penalty, however, the commissioner is required to give the employer a reasonable opportunity to show cause. On a plain reading of the provisions of subsection 3, it becomes clear that payment of interest is a consequence of default in payment without going into the reasons for the delay, and it is only in case where the delay is without justification the employer might also be held liable to penalty after giving him a show cause. Therefore, a finding to the effect that the delay in payment of the amount due was unjustified is required to be recorded only in case of imposition of penalty, and no such finding is required in case of interest which is to be levied on default per se. Section 3 of the Act deals with the employer's liability for compensation. Subsection 1 of that section provides that the employer shall be liable to pay compensation if personal injury is caused to a workman by accident arising out of and in the course of his employment. It was not the case of the employer that the right to compensation was taken away under subsection 5 of section 3 because of the institution of a suit in a civil court for damages in respect of the injury against the employer or any other person. The employer therefore became liable to pay the compensation as soon as the aforesaid personal injury was caused to the workman by the accident which admittedly arose out of and in the course of the employment. It is therefore futile to contend that the compensation did not fall due until after the Commissioner's order dated May 6, 1969 under Section 19. What the section provides is that if any question arises in any proceeding under the Act as to the liability of any person to pay compensation or as to the amount or duration of the compensation, it shall, in default of the agreement, be settled by the Commissioner. There is, therefore, nothing to justify the argument that the employer's liability to pay compensation under Section 3 in respect of the injury was suspended until after the settlement contemplated by Section 19. The appellant was thus liable to pay compensation as soon as the aforesaid personal injury was caused to the appellant, and there is no justification for the argument to the contrary. It was the duty of the appellant under Section 4A(1) of the Act to pay the compensation at the rate provided by Section 4 as soon as the personal injury was caused to the respondent. He failed to do so. What is worse, he did not even make a provisional payment under subsection 2 of section 4, for, as has been stated, he went to the extent of taking the false pleas that the respondent was a casual contractor and that the accident occurred solely because of his negligence. Then there is the further fact that he paid no heed to the respondent's personal approach for obtaining the compensation. It will be recalled that the respondent was driven to the necessity of making an application to the Commissioner for settling the claim, and even there the appellant raised a frivolous objection as to the jurisdiction of the Commissioner and prevailed on the respondent to file a memorandum of agreement settling the claim for a sum which was so grossly inadequate that it was rejected by the Commissioner. In these facts and circumstances, we have no doubt that the Commissioner was fully justified in making an order for the payment of interest and the penalty. Thank you.